Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the A-Side. I'm your host, Riley, and I'm very happy today to be bringing you an actual album review. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe. We're getting up there, and I'm so happy about it. Also, make sure you follow the official A-Side Instagram. That's so weird saying, and I'll put that in the description below. Anyway, today I'm going to be reviewing the new Brockhampton album, Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine. Now, Brockhampton is a group I've kind of listened to a little bit in the past. One of my first reviews was a review of the first Saturation album, and I did a reaction to one of their tracks not too long ago when they dropped Count on Me. And the thing is, I haven't really ever been able to get into them too much. I've always liked the more popular, laid back Brockhampton moments that, kind of focuses more on the popular elements like the choruses and the hooks, which I think they write amazing choruses and hooks. I mean, my favorite Brockhampton song is Sugar, if that tells you anything. But on this album, I think I really started to see the light with this group and really understand how great they are. Because upon first listen, I was pretty bored out of my mind. But after a couple of days of listening to it over and over again, this album kind of blew me away, especially on that final listen before making this video. I think I really get it now. Um, and the laid back moments are still my favorite. I still love the hooks and choruses more than anything, but I get the other moments and I've started to really enjoy them as well, or at least most of them. So I'm going to take this album track by track and talk about it and break down my thoughts on the tracks. First thing is Buzzcut, and this song is absolute heat. Um, Kevin Abstract and Danny Brown both drop some fire verses back to back. I mean, this song is just awesome and a pretty amazing way to open up the album. It really kicks you in the stomach and tells you it's time to go. This is going to be special. And it's just an amazing opener. And I also think it's kind of funny hearing Danny Brown say incel. I don't know. I just got a chuckle out of that. But overall, I think Buzzcut is a great song. And it's followed up by Chain On featuring JPEG Mafia. I think JPEG Mafia does a good job here as the featured artist. But my favorite part about this song is the beat. For some reason, it's just so infectious that it gets stuck in my head. And it's pretty much been stuck in my head all day since listening to this album this morning. It's just something that stays in my brain. The kind of ascending, almost sounding like strings there on the beat. And I absolutely love it. I think this might be one of the catchiest songs on the album. Not even like the chorus from Kevin Abstract, if you want to call it a chorus, more of a hook maybe. Not even that, just specifically that ascending part of the beat for some reason just gets lodged into my brain, but I'm not complaining about it. It's followed up by Count on Me, which I did a reaction to. You can go see that. It's very, not too long ago. And this is one of the more laid-back moments of the album, and of course, like I mentioned, we'll be talking about those more in a little bit, but I really enjoyed this song. I liked it. I liked the chorus. I liked the beat, especially the whistling on the beat is something that really kind of helped that laid-back vibe a little more. I really enjoyed this song, despite people saying this was the weaker of the singles. I liked it more than Buzzcut when it dropped, and I still do like it more. It's just more my vibe when it comes to Brockhampton. And I really love the super poppy hook here. It's just infectious, and it's like, well, bubblegum, you know? It's like sweet and sugary, and I just love it. And it's followed by Bankroll featuring ASAP Ferg and ASAP Rocky, and this is a song I really couldn't get into really any of my times listening to this album, and I listened to this album quite a few times preparing for this video, hence why it's a little late. And I just couldn't get into this track. I know people do enjoy it, and I'm glad they do, but this track just wasn't for me. I found it pretty unmemorable and didn't really enjoy it all too much, and we'll probably skip it in future listens. The Light, on the other hand, is one of the emotional peaks of the album. Now, a very big part of this album, really the center of this album, is Joba soul searching after the suicide of his father and through his already deteriorating and struggling mental health. And on this song, he really breaks down his feeling after the tragedy in earnest and very candidly. Um, and I think that is kind of the emotional highlight of the album throughout the rest of this album, because this is the first time we really get to hear it, and I think this tends to be, at least emotionally and lyrically, the highlight of the rest of the songs when it pops up. And it's definitely the main thing that really gives this album an emotional gut punch. And it's just super emotional, like I said, but it's very poignant. And it's followed up by an equally as poignant verse from Kevin Abstract, talking about his childhood. And it's all over this really kind of intense guitar driven beat. But this song is just pretty amazing lyrically, especially Joba. And yeah, it's just super personal and super honest. I know it probably wasn't easy to talk about things like this, but I really commend it because I think it makes some of the best art that's out there, including this song. It's followed by Windows, which has like a cool saxophone on it, and I think this song is alright, I guess. I have a hard time sitting through it. I think this one is a little boring and it's a little long. It's like over 6 minutes. And it's just one I once again don't really vibe with all too much. But it's followed up with I'll Take You On, which is probably my favorite song on this album. It's one of the more kind of laid back, poppier tracks, probably the poppiest track on the album, but that's okay because it's got a great bass line and it has a really good just beat overall that keeps the song moving forward. The song is paced wonderfully, and it just really propels itself forward the entire time. The chorus on this song is definitely the highlight of this album. Out of everything on this album, it's the highlight for me, with its beautiful harmonies and falsettos. Lyrically, this song is about taking on someone you love and accepting them despite their flaws and despite how toxic it is because you really love them. And of course, it's not as serious as like what was being tackled on The Light, but I think it's a really good kind of break and breather from like the emotion and heaviness of this album is this like poppy track with an amazing, beautiful chorus about something maybe a little less serious. I'm not saying it's not serious, but you know what I mean. Something a little less painful than what came before it. Something maybe a little more positive. And I don't know. I really enjoyed this song. I have so much fun with it. I think it's so beautiful, and it just sounds well like music to my ears. Then comes Old News, another one of the more kind of laid back, poppier tracks, very influenced by R&B on this one. And this is another one of my favorites from the album. Um, the lyrics seem to be about each member kind of departing and leaving someone they love, and kind of the ending of that. And of course, Joba's final verse on the song is pretty breathtaking, as it's one that doesn't really deal with love or a partner rather than his father. And I think it's once again just an emotional gut punch and leaves you pretty breathless at the end of this song. But I think the song once again is really pretty and another great kind of more laid back, vibey song. The kind of thing I enjoy more from Brockhampton. Then we have What's the Occasion, which is, again, I hate to sound like a broken record, one of my favorite songs on this album. Mostly because of the chorus. The melody on the chorus is just amazing. It's everything I like in a melody, honestly. It almost reminds me of something Alex Turner would have written in the AM era, and I know that sounds strange comparing this rap boy band group to the Arctic Monkeys, but the melodies really give me that vibe. And later on like the second and third time, when it incorporates the G funk into the chorus, it just takes it to a whole nother level, and it's just an absolutely amazing moment. That just brings out the best in this group, honestly. And lyrically, I think it really does a good job of describing like depression and anxiety and laying in your bed awake, not being able to sleep because the feelings and thoughts just keep racing across your mind and you can't shut it off. A million little pieces all add up to nothing lately. Um, Swimming in my bed sheets, it's something like a celebration. The swimming in my bed sheets part being the tossing and turning all night, not being able to get comfortable, and the a million little pieces all add up to nothing lately is your mind kind of wandering and going from thing to thing and you can't stop thinking, and really none of it makes sense to be thinking about it in that moment, and none of it ever makes sense to you, but you just can't stop thinking about it because the anxiety is eating you away. And I think that's a really just very strong way of describing that feeling. This song gets a big thumbs up for me. But I once again just really want to hammer home how good that chorus is. A million little pieces all add up to nothing lately. Swim within my bed sheets. It's something like a celebration. Just really hits me for some reason. It just scratches all the right itches, and I am in love. When I Ball is next up, and this song is extremely soulful in the beats and in the falsettos on the chorus, um, and I love it. It honestly just fills me with such positivity and warmness. It's so hopeful, probably the most hopeful and upbeat moment on the album. Um, like, it starts off with the lyrics: "My mama said I didn't come into this world with tears. Instead, I welcomed her with open eyes and open ears." Coming in ready to take on this world and being what you want to be and spreading your wings and flying. And that's what the song is all about, is just seizing life and seizing the moment. The other really beautiful line on this song to me was, "A little stain can be the beauty in it all." Kind of talking about how maybe the imperfections of life and the imperfections of yourself are really what make life and yourself beautiful. Not everything is perfect, but we would be bored if everything was. um, and how your imperfections are what makes you you. I mean, whether you don't like them or not, it is what defines you, and what makes you beautiful. And I just found that really heartwarming. And I found the song to be extremely hopeful, especially among some of the heavier subject matter that's coming through on this album. And keep in mind, if I get any of this wrong, this is all how I've interpreted most of this. I used Genius for some of it, like on The Light, and did a little bit of research, but most of this is how I interpret these albums when I talk about it. So if I get like something wrong, do not kill me. Just maybe inform me, because it would be cool to know. But this is how I interpret these albums and these songs. Track 11, Don't Shoot Up the Party, is a song that I enjoy. I think it's good, but it's one I don't have too much to say about. I don't find it all extremely interesting or noteworthy, with the exception of Joba's verse, who once again really is the emotional highlight of this album, and it once again refers to his father's suicide, and he talks about his feeling and what he was going through, and if he thought about him when it happened, and it's cut short by a gunshot. Well, it's more of a laser shot, but you understand the meaning. Um, like a life being cut short. And that's just a moment of wow, it hits you. The penultimate track, Dear Lord, is a prayer. And it's like a gospel song. There's not much going on here. Production wise, there's not much of a beat. It's mostly just harmonies and stuff, and it's fine, I guess. It just kind of bores me. I understand the conceptual significance of it and why it's here as the penultimate track before the Light Part 2, but it's something that I don't find too interesting or engaging. That being said, the Light Part 2 is the exact opposite. This is Kevin Abstract and Joba kind of responding to the bad things that have happened to them on the Light Part 1 and the Part 2 with very religious overtones, keep in mind, talking about how you will rise through these bad things and make it through the things that hurt you and these terrible things, that you need to get through and see the light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what happens, there is a light at the end, and there always will be. And that's just a very powerful message at the end of this album, especially considering some of the subject matter beforehand. And the idea of that it is going to be all right in the end, that there is light at the end of the tunnel, something I think everyone needs to hear at least once in their life when things are going downhill. And I just think it is an absolute beautiful way to end the album, especially Joba's second verse that ends the album. It's just so candid and filled with so much pain, but through that pain becomes beauty and hope when he talks about his father's memory living on through him and through his children, and how one day he'll see the light, and how he's found the light, making it through these struggles and rising above the things that are bringing you down. And I think it's just an absolute beautiful moment. And I think everyone does a great job on this album. And I'm so glad this album clicked for me, because I think it's one of the best things I've heard all year. Like I said, when I first listened to it, I was bored out of my mind. But it's really grown on me, and I think I need to go through and give some of Brockhampton's older albums another chance. I've heard the first Saturation, which I reviewed positively. There are still some really good songs I come back to on that. And I gave Ginger another chance the other night and ended up enjoying it. So I think I need to go and listen to those a few more times and check out the rest of their albums. Maybe one day I'll do a review of the end of the Saturation trilogy. And for those of you wondering where Map of the Soul Part 2 is, I've just been really busy lately. It'll come out eventually. But I'm going to give Roadrunner New Light, New Machine by Brockhampton a 9 out of 10. This is one of the best things I've heard all year. I thought this year's been pretty boring so far. So, I'm so glad this album's dropped and come out. What did you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. And I'll see you all next time.